ahead of Washington, D.C.'s only professional tennis tournament. Washington Commanders minority owner Mark Ein tells our chief investigative reporter Eric Flack the district could be in danger of losing the tournament. That is, if the city and the National Park Service don't agree to major upgrades on the aging tennis center where the tournament is held. Ein says time is running out to strike a deal, and as we found out, losing the tournament would cost D.C. millions in revenue, tens of millions actually, and children in underserved communities, well, they'll lose opportunities to learn the game.
Every year, Jerome and Jason Chambers drive down from New Jersey to spend a couple of days at the Mubadala Citi DC Open.
When you look at some of the peeling paint and the rusted railings, what do you think?
Well, I think they need to do some upgrades.
Peeling paint and rust are just the start here at the William H.G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center in Rock Creek Park. We found holes in the concrete, cracks in the walls, decaying light posts, even graffiti on the stands.
This is our first time here.
AU students Sienna Cisco and Lexia Ronan expected more.
Structure's just not that nice, looks kind of old, worn down, so I was kind of surprised.
At some point, if the facility doesn't match the level of the event, we're not going to be able to keep it here.
Tournament chair Mark Ein told me they do their best to dress things up, with crews spending weeks building grandstands around auxiliary courts to accommodate the one-of-a-kind 500-player men's and women's field. They even had air-conditioned bars and food courts for regular folks and VIPs alike. But Ein said there's only so much cosmetic changes can do.
We've done a lot of the Band-Aids, and we every year put hundreds of thousands of dollars into repainting some of the more obvious things. We spent hundreds of thousands of more dollars putting signs up to cover a rusting stadium. But actually, the problems are now much deeper.
Ein told us the tennis center, which was built way back in the 1980s, now has uneven courts that need to be resurfaced every year at the tournament's cost. Unequal and inadequate locker rooms for female players. He said the list goes on, and the ATP Tour, the governing body of professional tennis, is getting fed up.
One of the reasons that we were brought in is because they had run out of patience.
Ein's investment group took the tennis tournament over in 2019 from the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation, or WTEF. It's been sold out 4 years in a row now, with an estimated economic impact to the district of more than $30 million annually. And WTEF remains the largest community beneficiary of the event. Its mission? Providing free tennis and education programs for children in underserved communities.
It's a seven-figure contribution annually, so it's big for us in that regard.
CEO John Board.
If this goes away, it's not just transactionally, what does it mean for the city, but also generations of opportunity start to vanish when it doesn't exist.
So why do things still look like this? Well, the tennis center is owned and operated by the National Park Service, and a spokesperson told us, by agreement, their responsibilities are limited to structural integrity of the stadium, sidewalks and curbs, turf trees and parking, electrical repairs, drinking fountains and utilities, and only when, quote, funds permit. The National Park Service told us it has invested more than $1.9 million in upkeep and improvements to the Rock Creek Tennis Center in the last decade, although at times it is hard to notice that. Ein and Borden are now trying to jumpstart talks with the National Park Service and D.C. government for costly but necessary wholesale renovations to upgrade a tennis center used by the community year-round, while also keeping pro tennis from pulling out of D.C.
They know we're on the right track. They know we're committed. They're not going to wait forever. These events are highly sought after by cities around the globe.
Are you optimistic or worried?
I'm an optimistic person by nature, very. And there is optimism, but actually pretty deep concern at this point, just understanding how deep the issues are and how short the time frame's getting.
Do you share his concern?
100%. I think, there's optimism because there's a clear path forward, but I think it would be foolhardy to not recognize the risk and the concerns that are in front of the tournament and its future.
Ein told us tax dollars aren't the only way to get those renovations done, and that a public-private partnership, much like D.C. struck with its public golf courses, is a model. Events D.C., the quasi-city agency which supports the D.C. Open, said in a statement, "We look forward to working with our partners Mark Ein, Mubadala Citi DC Open team, and the Washington Tennis and Education Foundation on its continued growth." We're still waiting to hear back from the National Park Service spokesperson about Ein's call for major renovations to the facility.